I think it's safe to say that AI generation has had its most explosive year yet. It's completely radically reshaping how we even think about content creation. We're seeing this total transformation in what just one single creator can pull off. And right now, the absolute biggest debate dominating the space comes down to two heavyweights: VO3 versus Kling AI. Naturally, everyone is asking, well, which one wins? The internet is just flooded with people telling you which one to champion and which one to ditch. But honestly, pitting these tools against each other as direct rivals is completely missing the point. It's basically the great AI myth of the year. If you're busy picking sides right now, you're already falling behind the curve, because the reality is way more interesting than a simple versus battle. The creators who are absolutely dominating the content game heading into 2026, they aren't picking sides at all. They're actually combining both into a single powerhouse production pipeline. We're moving away from just choosing one tool for an isolated, quirky output. Instead, we're looking at a complete end-to-end workflow that literally just 2 short years ago would have cost you a full film crew, a studio, and a massive production budget to pull off. It's really all about understanding how these systems complement each other perfectly. So here is the exact blueprint we're going to cover in today's explainer to build that pipeline. 1. The core breakdown. 2. The hybrid pipeline. 3. Real-world application. And 4. The honest take. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The core breakdown. Understanding the latest tool updates. Let's break down what each tool is actually built for, starting with Google DeepMind's VO3. Now, VO isn't just a basic video generator. It is fundamentally a cinematic realism engine. Think of it like having an experienced film director's eye baked right into your prompt box. It intuitively understands the emotional quality of lighting, the complex physics of depth of field, and the subtle art of framing. It brings an absolute brand-level polish to your ideas, and it's built from the ground up to make your concepts look incredibly expensive and highly produced. And with the recent VEO 3.9 updates, you're getting some highly requested features. We're talking vertical video support, which gives you native portrait mode generation tailored perfectly for shorts and reels, plus stronger scene consistency, incredible image-to-video upgrades, and jaw-dropping 4K resolution. But the real paradigm shift here, native audio generation. It perfectly syncs ambient environmental sound and actual dialogue directly to the visuals. Before this, AI video was essentially just mute cinema, right? Now it talks directly to you, and that opens up an entirely new storytelling possibilities. Now, Kling AI provides a really sharp contrast to that. Developed by Kuaishou, Kling acts as your production architect. Where VEO is your ultimate cinematic finisher, Kling is built specifically for structural sequencing and maintaining super tight narrative consistency across an entire project. It's the foundation that holds your larger story together. Kling 3.0 repositioned the tool entirely. They introduced multi-shot generation and rock-solid character continuity, which absolutely solves one of AI video's biggest previous flaws. You can now define a character in one single prompt, and Kling ensures they look exactly the same across multiple scenes, changing environments, different camera angles, the whole shebang. It's basically functioning as a pre-production pipeline all on its own. You're no longer rolling the dice on every single generation. Instead, you're building a persistent, reliable visual world. Section 2, the hybrid pipeline. A step-by-step masterclass. So the absolutely crucial point here is knowing exactly how to seamlessly hand off between these tools. This forms a highly effective 4-step system. First, structure the narrative skeleton in Kling. Second, export your brief. Third, add the cinematic soul in VO3. And finally, edit and distribute. Let's break these exact steps down so you can implement this workflow literally today. For step 1, you're going to use Kling AI essentially as your pre-production suite. You input a structural prompt, something like a young engineer and a modern office, 3-shot sequence, close-up reaction, wide office shot, hands-on keyboard, consistent character. You use this to establish your scene order, test your pacing with a few variations, and firmly lock in that character design. This is where you do all the structural heavy lifting without having to worry just yet about perfect cinematic gloss. Then, step 2 is all about the handoff. Instead of trying to finalize your project right there in Kling, pull your absolute best scene frames, your ideal camera angles, and your smoothest motion clips. This becomes your creative brief. It's essentially a professional director's reference packet. You're giving the cinematic engine exactly what it needs to succeed, removing all the guesswork and ensuring your final output matches your original vision perfectly. For step 3, you take those exact references and feed them right into VO3's image-to-video feature with a super detailed prompt like, reference image attached, engineer at desk, warm overhead light, her voice softly saying, it actually works. VO takes that structural skeleton and just layers in gorgeous cinematic lighting, highly realistic skin textures, and native spoken narration. The result? It literally looks like it was shot on a high-end Red camera with a professional lighting crew standing right there in the room. Finally, step 4. Bring those stunning renders into an editing suite like CapCut or Premiere Pro. This is where you add all the essential polish. Crisp subtitles, your brand elements, engaging visual hooks, and a really clear call to action. Because you have such incredible high-resolution source material, you can easily pump out multiple platform-ready cuts, like a 9:16 for TikTok or a 16:9 for YouTube, all from one single original source. You're maximizing your output with minimal extra effort. It's a real game changer. Section 3, real-world application, putting the pipeline to work. It's pretty easy to get lost in all the technical steps, so let's ground this with a real example. Imagine you're an educator building a complex visual lesson on the water cycle. Kling organizes the 3 scientific acts, cloud formation, precipitation, and evaporation, into a visually consistent documentary-style skeleton. Then you bring in Veo to breathe life into it with calm, authoritative narration, really immersive rain sounds, and the subtle noise of wind. You end up with a fully narrated, broadcast-quality educational module produced entirely solo in a single afternoon. I mean, 18 months ago, that was a multi-day shoot with a whole team. Today, it's literally just you and a well-structured workflow. Section 4, the honest take, current friction points and limitations. Now, none of this is without its challenges, right? Understanding the current friction points is absolutely key to a smooth workflow. VO is still gated by premium costs, and despite the recent updates, it can sometimes drift and lose consistency on clips longer than about 15 seconds. It's also highly prompt sensitive, meaning you have to be super precise with your language. On the flip side, Kling still has a bit of a realism ceiling. It isn't quite at VO's premium Hollywood quality just yet. And its native audio, specifically those lip sync capabilities, well, they still have some rough edges that require a bit of iteration to get exactly right. But despite these limitations, the broader structural shift here is undeniable. We are moving so rapidly from single prompt party tricks to full-scale production workflows. We're no longer just asking if AI can make a cute short clip. We are asking how many full productions a single person can build this week. This is permanently shifting the paradigm for teams, educators, and solo creators who previously needed massive budgets just to get their foot in the door. As we scale up this immense power, we do have to talk about the professional standards of modern creation. The line between AI-generated and human-produced content is getting harder to detect every single day. Look, the tools themselves are completely neutral, but transparency absolutely matters in how you build trust with your audience. The creators who win long-term are going to be the ones who use these pipelines with deep intention and are totally open with their viewers about their workflow, treating it as a legitimate production technique rather than some kind of hidden shortcut. The era of the AI gimmick is truly over. The era of the AI architect has officially arrived. The only question now is how you're going to use this pipeline to tell your own compelling stories. So, which part of this workflow will you start with first? Are you going to dive into Kling to master narrative structure, or jump straight into VO to explore that beautiful cinematic finish? Please like, share, and subscribe, plus, and drop a comment in comment box. We can't wait to hear from you, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.